Hey everyone, my name is Wedge and there are still spoilers going on, so why are we wasting time with intros? Cut! The first card we're looking at today is Aegis of the Gods. Very cool name. It's a 2-mana 2/1 enchantment creature human. You have hexproof. We've seen a couple of cards with really interesting abilities like this. Its obvious use is against something like Burn, except for the fact that he's so easily killable. He'll probably end up in the sideboard of some aggressive human decks. The fragility of this card is also its strength. If they have to send a lightning strike, killing this instead of your hero of Iroas, it seems pretty good to me. It forces their hand, is basically what I'm saying. Eidolon of Rhetoric is 3 mana for a 1/4 enchantment creature. Each player can cast more than one spell each turn. This ability is awesome. Both Rule of Law and Aethersworn Canonist are very well-known cards and are still used today in a variety of formats and strategies. The Eidolon is packing a huge toughness that isn't easy to burn down. If you're building Modern or Legacy on a budget, this could be a useful anti-storm sideboard card. For those with fewer constraints, Aethersworn Canonist is generally better, and Rule of Law itself is more difficult to kill. Still, the Eidolon is solid if you can be certain your opponent isn't running anything like Flame Slash that could potentially burn down the Eidolon. Other than all that jazz, this will be great in Commander. Decks are always looking to integrate more disruptive abilities like this, and it fits right in alongside Rule of Law and the Canonist for decks that want it. As far as Standard is concerned, the Eidolon does get destroyed by Mizzium Mortars right now. After rotation, if Mortars isn't replaced by another cheap 4 damage burn spell, Eidolon of Rhetoric could see some serious play against any burn or aggressive strategy. It's going to be really interesting to see when this card really picks up. Also, just something fun for you guys, get Eidolon on the battlefield, then play Possibility Storm. No one can cast any spells. The first spell is exiled due to Possibility Storm, and the Eidolon prevents the second spell, since Possibility Storm tells you to cast it. Ha! Now that's a fun way to troll. Disclaimer, if anyone does this, you're totally losing friends. Battlefield Thaumaturge is 2 mana for a 2/1 human wizard. Each instant and sorcery spell you cast costs 1 less to cast for each creature it targets. Right, also, whenever you cast a spell that targets it, it gains hexproof until end of turn. The second ability is cute and all, but come on, we're all here for that cost reduction. I can just imagine the amount of fighting that's going to go on about whether or not this ability is good. Let's try to break it down a bit. Your first thought is probably Massive Heroic Enabler. After all, Launch the Fleet becomes 1 white mana to give every single creature you have the ability to make 1/1s. 1 mana to do all that. But the Thaumaturge doesn't care whether your targets are yours or your opponent's. How about something a little more hilarious? Curse of the Swine. Yeah, I know. Pigs for days. Wait, we're getting distracted. Let me paint a picture for you. Thaumaturge, Launch the Fleet, Bremiz, Spear of Heliod. How is this not the most awesome combination of cards you've ever heard of? Sure, he's easy to kill and takes up an aggro spot at the 2 slot, but honestly, that's totally cool if you're getting a gigantic Launch the Fleet. Okay. Let's approach this from a different angle. Lightning Strike is Lightning Bolt when targeting a creature. Mizzium Mortars is Flame Slash with Overload. Doomblade and Ultimate Price both only cost 1 mana to cast. Sea God's Revenge now costs 3 mana to unsummon 3 creatures and scry 1. Dauntless Onslaught is now a single white mana. The possibilities are endless with this. I know I missed a ton of cards that this helps, but it's basically everything. My point is that this is easily a build-around card. You put this in your deck as a 4 of, and everything you add after that helps you synergize with the Thaumaturge. The ability is so crazy and in your face that I have no idea how it's going to do in competitive play, but my gut says that people are going to go nuts trying to find ways to make it work. Someone will crack the code. If not now, after rotation maybe. Daring Thief is 3 mana for a 2/3 rogue with Inspired. Whenever it becomes untapped, you may exchange control of target non-land permanent you control and target permanent an opponent controls that shares a card type with it. This card screams Commander, or just multiplayer in general. It may be a little slow for Standard, but the ability certainly is powerful. While it is dependent on your opponents having things you want to steal, multiplayer formats practically guarantee that someone will have something big and dumb. A Zedru Commander deck seems like a perfect place for this card. It's pretty much exactly what you want to be doing. As long as you remember you can't exchange lands, your opponents are about to have a bad time. Finally, Bearer of the Heavens is 8 mana for a 10/10 giant. When it dies, destroy all permanents at the beginning of the next end step. This is going to be hilarious with Rescue from the Underworld. Normally I would just say this is strictly Commander playable, but come on! How cool would it be to play an Armageddon-style deck that just wipes the board clean, in Standard? That would be the best thing ever. Someone do this, please. Spoilers just seem to be getting more and more ridiculous as days go by. The set is shaping up to be really cool. Do you guys have any predictions on what else we'll see before all the spoilers are done? Anything you want it to be printed that you haven't seen yet? Personally, I wanted them to take Metamai the Ageless, give him haste and hexproof, and lower his mana cost, but you know, a guy can dream, right? Remember to subscribe below for the latest and most reliable Journey into Nyx spoiler information you could ever need. This is the Mana Source. I'm Wedge. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.